Overnight, the US-Iran conflict escalated into its sixth consecutive day of combat, threatening to disrupt global oil supplies through the vital Strait of Hormuz. Here's what you need to know about this alarming turn of events. The future of the US-Iran conflict appears fraught with uncertainty and potential for significant escalation. Recently, tensions have escalated dramatically, with Iran intensifying its military actions against US facilities in the region. This surge in hostilities has raised alarms among international observers as the Strait of Hormuz is becoming increasingly impassable for commercial shipping. This vital choke point is critical, with approximately 20% of the world's oil passing through its waters. Industry experts are now predicting that a global oil supply crisis could emerge in the coming days if these hostilities persist. The implications are severe, as a blockade in this strategic waterway would likely lead to soaring oil prices, creating a ripple effect across the global economy. The potential for economic fallout is significant. Rising oil prices could trigger inflationary pressures worldwide. Countries may be compelled to adopt emergency measures to stabilize their economies, reminiscent of past OPEC+ production cuts that aim to balance supply and demand. Furthermore, as Iran continues its offensive, there is a heightened risk that other regional powers, such as Saudi Arabia or Israel, could be drawn into the fray, escalating the conflict into a multi-front regional war with devastating consequences. The outlook is grim, with observers advised to watch for any further military escalations, diplomatic attempts to de-escalate, or responses from international organizations like the United Nations. The pressing question remains: can the international community intervene effectively to prevent a full-scale war in the Middle East? With tensions escalating, nations must urgently explore new diplomatic avenues. Failure to do so could lead to a catastrophic conflict that not only reshapes the geopolitical landscape, but also endangers global stability for years to come. The escalation of hostilities between the United States and Iran marks a critical juncture in a conflict that has spanned decades, rooted in mutual distrust and geopolitical rivalry. Recently, a truce aimed at curbing violence and fostering diplomatic engagement collapsed within a month, signaling a return to aggressive posturing from both nations. The U.S. has intensified military pressure on Iran as President Donald Trump has leveraged accusations of foreign interference to galvanize public support for military actions. In response, Iran has shifted its military strategy, moving from a defensive posture to launching proactive strikes against U.S. assets, indicating a significant tactical change. Historically, the U.S.-Iran relationship has been fraught with tension following the 1979 Iranian Revolution, which led to the severing of diplomatic ties. The imposition of sanctions and military interventions have frequently triggered cycles of retaliation. In recent weeks, the landscape has altered dramatically, with both nations appearing more inclined to engage in direct military conflict. This shift contrasts sharply with previous periods characterized by back-channel negotiations and diplomatic efforts aimed at de-escalation. The impact of this renewed hostility extends beyond the immediate region, threatening global security and economic stability. Oil prices could surge, and markets may react negatively to the uncertainty surrounding U.S.-Iran relations. Furthermore, the potential for miscalculations or accidental confrontations could have devastating consequences for both nations and their allies. Looking ahead, it is crucial for both the U.S. and Iran to reconsider their strategies and seek avenues for dialogue. The current trajectory suggests an increasing likelihood of conflict unless both sides can find common ground and address the underlying issues that have fueled animosity for years. Diplomatic engagement remains a vital necessity to avert a broader crisis in the region. The recent escalation of the U.S.-Iran conflict has significant implications for the global economy, particularly due to the strategic importance of the Strait of Hormuz. Approximately 20% of the world's oil supply flows through this narrow waterway, which connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman. Following a U.S. strike on an Iranian tanker, Iran's retaliatory actions have effectively halted maritime traffic through this vital choke point. This interruption not only threatens oil transportation, but also raises alarms about the stability of global energy markets. The Strait of Hormuz has historically been a flashpoint for geopolitical tensions, with various nations vying for influence in the region, making it a barometer for international relations. The ongoing conflict highlights the fragility of diplomatic relations among the countries involved. If tensions continue to escalate, experts predict a significant spike in oil prices, which could lead to immediate inflationary pressures across global markets. Higher oil prices would not only affect energy costs, but could also trigger a broader economic shock, impacting everything from transportation expenses to the prices of consumer goods. For example, when oil prices rise, the costs of shipping goods increase, leading to higher retail prices for consumers. The ramifications extend beyond mere economics. The breakdown of any truce signals a collapse of potential diplomatic avenues. This raises the specter of a wider regional conflict, potentially drawing in additional nations and exacerbating existing rivalries. The average person should care about this situation because rising oil prices and potential economic instability could directly affect daily life. Increased fuel costs for vehicles and higher prices for groceries are just a few of the ripple effects this conflict could generate. Looking ahead, if the situation deteriorates further, we may face a severe supply crisis, leading to energy shortages and heightened geopolitical tensions. Governments and businesses must prepare for the possibility of sustained instability in the region. As the dynamics continue to evolve, stakeholders across the globe will need to closely monitor developments in the Strait of Hormuz to mitigate risks and safeguard economic stability. The potential for economic upheaval underscores the importance of proactive diplomatic engagement to prevent further escalation. On July 17, 2026, the long-standing conflict between the United States and Iran intensified dramatically, marking the sixth consecutive day of direct combat. The U.S. military executed a targeted strike on an unladen oil tanker near Karg Island, an area crucial for Iran's oil exports. The Pentagon justified this attack by claiming the vessel was en route to the Iranian oil terminal on Karg Island, which is vital for Iran's economy. In retaliation, Iran launched fresh assaults on U.S. facilities across the Gulf, effectively ending the fragile truce that had been in place since the onset of hostilities. This escalation signifies a significant shift in military engagement, with both sides entrenched in their respective strategies. The U.S. aims to degrade Iranian military capabilities, while Iran targets U.S. interests in the region. The ongoing conflict has now persisted for over 140 days, marking a new chapter in a protracted struggle that has roots in decades of animosity. The recent escalation comes amid a backdrop of heightened geopolitical tensions, influenced by factors such as the shifting alliances in the Middle East and the ongoing global energy crisis. The rapid breakdown of diplomatic efforts is particularly alarming, as both parties appear unwilling to consider a peaceful resolution. Unlike previous skirmishes, this situation has the potential to disrupt global oil markets, raising fears of soaring prices and economic instability. Analysts warn that the conflict could lead to a broader regional war, drawing in other nations and further destabilizing an already volatile area. The implications of this conflict are profound, with potential ripple effects on international relations and trade. As both nations continue their military posturing, the risk of miscalculation increases, which could lead to unintended consequences. The international community is left grappling with the ramifications of this escalation, particularly as energy prices fluctuate and supply chains are threatened. Looking ahead, if diplomatic channels remain closed, we may witness an even deeper entrenchment of hostilities, underscoring the urgent need for renewed dialogue to prevent further escalation and to stabilize the region. The coming days will be critical in determining whether a path to de-escalation can be forged amidst the chaos. With the potential for a regional war escalating, how will global economies cope with such a crisis? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth analyses.